What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
And we're here to talk about...
Yeah, your sign language is something else.
No, it's not sign language, it's pantomime.
Oh, Panama. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's we're talking about your show, Winter Falcon.
Winter Falcon. Call.
Also known as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as some people want to call it.
You know, if you want to be
Correct.
yeah,
Technically
right.
Episode 4.
We only got 6 of them.
We only got 6, and this episode just shows me, man, I wish we had more. This is my favorite episode so far.
Really?
Yeah, because it got dark, and I was like, ooh, yeah, I like this.
See, this was not my favorite episode.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, I was like, we're seeing people's colors finally. I mean, we kind of seen hints of it, but we're seeing like, okay, maybe it's something we kind of all knew. Maybe the government isn't exactly the best in the MCU in terms of giving people responsibilities. Maybe some people don't need responsibilities; they can't handle it. I just enjoyed everything about this. I enjoyed the fight choreography in this. There was a nice kind of build up throughout the episode of. I mean, we'll do non-spoilers, but at the end of the last episode, we saw Bucky with is it Ayo?
I don't remember.
One of the Dora Milaje.
Yeah.
One we've seen before, the one that we saw in Civil War, when she's like,
when she said, "Move, or you will be moved."
Yeah, that was great.
And T'Challa was like, "As interesting as that would be,
yeah,
we got other stuff to do."
Yeah, the episode starts off with that, and then there's kind of a Winter Soldier and Falcon and Zemo going to meet up with them again, and I was kind of waiting on that throughout the episode, and I wasn't disappointed when it finally came back.
This was my least favorite one, only because it gave me what I already knew was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like a shock to me. I was more or less wanting. I love the interactions with the characters. Mm-hmm. I thought Sam and Carly was not done. That wasn't fleshed out enough. Mm-hmm. I felt like that wasn't. I felt like that wasn't written well, but I like what they tried to, like everything they tried to do in this episode worked. Mm-hmm. I just felt like it wasn't done justice. It wasn't as tight as some of the other things that I've seen was.
Okay. For me, I would give this like 4.5 out of 5 shield throws.
See, I would give this a 3.
Okay.
A 3 Zemo's candies.
Why does he have those candies around? It's so creepy.
Zemo to me is hilarious because Zemo's just like traveling through, like he's
having a good time.
You know what Zemo reminds me of?
What?
Zemo reminds me of Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Just kind of going through life.
Yeah.
Kind of like remember in Star-Lord in the beginning of the Guardians of the Galaxy when he's just dancing? Mm-hmm. And it's like, come and get your love.
Yeah.
And Zemo is just like, just traipsing through this, and like he's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's so comical, some of the stuff he does, to where they're arguing with this guy and Zemo's just walking around.
Yeah.
He gets a gun.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to figure out stuff. Zemo walks up to a little girl, gives her some candy.
Yeah, that's so.
And it's like.
Yeah.
It just Zemo to me is like he's almost like a cartoon character. Mm-hmm. In this episode, and I like it. I really do.
Okay. So now spoilers. Starting from the beginning, I guess. Yeah, that I like that they kind of showed back. They went back to Wakanda and showed them deprogramming Bucky. Yeah. Because it establishes a bond between the Dora Milaje warrior and Bucky, and so we realized, of all the Dora Milaje, he has a close relationship with this one because he helped her, or she helped him, get the brainwashing out. Mm-hmm. And I really like that.
I liked it because once we knew Zemo was going to be in this, I liked it. I'm trying to find the name of the episode to make sure because I believe it was one thing, and I want to make sure. I liked it. I liked it because we saw Sam step up to the plate to say, maybe. So I don't know if you might remember this. There's a difference between hard power and soft power. The carrot and the stick. Mm-hmm. And in this episode, we saw Sam try to be the carrot and try to be like, hey, we can't go in there guns a blazing, a la America. and waving the flag and busting people in the head with the shield. There's nuance. And it was very. He was trying to talk to John Walker and it's like, this is what I do. Mm-hmm. I understand her. The problem I had with the episode was they didn't show, in my opinion, and people could look at it differently. I felt like they didn't. That wasn't as tight. That bond between the two of them where they understood each other. Like
between who?
Carly and Sam. In other words, where Carly was like, these are the things that we're going through, and this is what happened to us. I felt like it wasn't tight enough where Sam's like, I get it. Because it's like, everybody knows who you are. Mm-hmm. You're an Avenger. You and Bucky are literally Avengers. You like, they see your face, you saved the world, yada yada. Mm-hmm. But I felt like Sam wasn't written well enough to explain the horrors that he had seen, that his country had done in the name of its country. To Carly, that bond wasn't established. I like what they try to do.
Do you think it is a thing of maybe the scene should have been longer to let them talk, or you
yes.
just think that?
Yes, and it should have been written better.
Okay.
That was my biggest problem with the scene, and I'm trying to remember, because I think it was called One Thing, but it's so basically the idea behind, to me, this episode was really showing you who John Walker was.
Yeah.
And that was great. The best part about it was, and again, it always ends up being Zemo basically showing the cracks in the whole Avengers capitalism, almost borderline fascism that the super soldier program really is. The idea that Zemo was the one that super soldiers in itself is supremacy. I was like, oh, we're going there. Like that was, to me, I love that part of this episode. The fact that they actually talked about the idea that creating a super soldier in itself is creating the idea of supremacy, making someone better than other people. It brings in, like, I don't know if a lot of people realize we're discussing eugenics. We're discussing not white supremacy, but supremacy in the sense of there are people who are just physically better than other people.
Right.
And I was like, I did not expect Disney to go there with this show.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect Disney to go with a bloody shield at the very end, but...
So, did you get that when we watched an officer-involved shooting? That's exactly what that was.
Interesting.
Because the name of the episode, because this is the thing, it's weird because when I watched it, the name of the episode is The Whole World is Watching.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I do remember that.
So they got it reversed here with episode 1, The Whole World is Watching, but actually, that's episode 4. What it was set up to be was, this was an officer-involved shooting with the shield.
Yeah.
And that's what just happened.
And it was all taped and everything. Yeah.
And we just saw a moment in time of one man losing control, who was never in control, with the weight of the world on his shoulders. And this is why I said, when people were like, how could you say he didn't earn it? This is why he did not earn that shield. He was given that shield. They did not understand the man behind that mask. And we saw it live all over the world.
Yeah. I mean, he continued to attack that dude, killed him, everybody filmed it. I am curious where they're going to go in episode 5 now. I was like, because, spoiler alert again, he did take the serum.
Oh, yeah.
We saw him pocket the serum at once, and we didn't know if he was going to take it this episode or not. But we see he's able to bend a pipe. And
Sam was like, what did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? I was like, that was great. One thing that's always weird to me, and I guess it's just, you can only do so much in live action. It's weird sometimes that it seems like Sam is able to fight with super soldiers. Or damage him. Because sometimes he hits them, and it's like, if you're a super soldier, I feel like it wouldn't hurt you.
Well, see, this is the thing. And this is something where a great comic series, however, there's some caveats to it, because the guy who wrote it did a little bit of stolen valor.
Okay.
So basically, he wrote a series called Stormwatch, and it's a continuation of one of the Wildstorm series, which basically is they police super soldiers, they superheroes in this world. They're a military group that has no powers.
Okay.
The idea is that Superman is strong. Superman doesn't know how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a trained fighter,
Okay.
you could actually, and I'm using that as extreme because that's the whole idea. But basically, it's like you may be fast, but if I know where to hit you, I can bring you down. Sam has been taught by some of the greatest fighters in the world. So of course he would know where to hit people who are untrained.
Okay. I'll buy that.
Just because you're strong doesn't mean you know how to fight.
Okay.
I can swing my arms, but if I duck and I hit you right up here, you're going down. And that's what I saw from Sam.
You talked about pinpoint accuracy. I really enjoyed the Dora Milaje fight when they knocked off Bucky's arm. I was like,
She said,
I was like, oh, she's doing like 5-point palm technique. I think we're doing kill
and then Bucky looked like this.
Yes. So I was like, oh.
Bucky, this is Bucky. Bucky was like, this is Bucky. And Sam was like, did you know they could do that? And Bucky was like, no. And he politely did.
Yeah, just stuck it back on. I mean, and it makes sense, right? Of course, they built it. They know the technology, but it's just things like that just show me why Marvel is so ahead of the game. They're thinking of those little things like, well, if they know how to build it, they know how.
Well, if they knew how to deconstruct it to help you.
Right.
They knew how to take it apart.
Right. They know how to stop you if they need to.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. That fight was really what sold the episode for me, because as they were building, I was like, when are the Dora Milaje going to come back? We have this ticking clock of you have 8 hours. 8 hours is coming up soon. Here we go.
And again, Zemo
closed the door. And just walking like
Zemo was like.
Yeah.
And again, it's the cartoon that Zemo is.
Yeah, it was very good.
Because Zemo's like, this ain't my fight.
Yeah.
Negro, it's about you.
Yeah.
It's like that was hilarious. But what I really liked about it was it once again showed that kink in John Walker's armor. The fact that he wanted to be a super soldier so bad. He wanted to be Captain America so bad. But those women beat him and they weren't super soldiers. You don't have to be a super soldier to be a hero.
Sure.
And it showed the dichotomy between Blastar and John Walker's Captain America, between Bucky and Falcon. Because when Zemo asked him, would you take the serum? He was like, no, I don't need it. That's not who I am.
Right.
And where on the other hand, Blastar was like, hell yeah, I would take him. But I'm not knocking them. They're using that based on their military experience, that they were in war and they were like, imagine what we could have done.
We could have saved lives.
We could have saved lives. So in their minds, it's different. They're not looking at the big picture. Whereas Zemo was like, I had an opportunity. Zemo had all the vials. And you thought for a second, was Zemo going to take one? And Zemo started smashing them things like roaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, did Zemo pocket one of them? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I wonder if Zemo pocketed one of them just to use as a leverage. Because the dude is smart and he is a villain.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me about this episode that I did like was that you got to see John Walker basically not be in control, and that is a big problem for him. And regardless of how you feel about him from the comics, so some people have read ahead. In class, they read the next chapter, so they know what happens. You know what John Walker is and what he's capable of.
So now the people who are uninitiated like me have a better understanding of what you already knew. John Walker is just he's disturbed. He's not all there.
It's in this episode they showed him disturbed. The problem with, and why I said there's a difference between John Walker and the difference between the man John Walker and Steve Rogers. Zemo perfectly summed it up. The idea of a super soldier is basically you're saying this person is superior to everybody else. And then Sam counters that and says, what about Captain America, aka Steve Rogers? And Zemo was like, Captain America is a symbol. There has never been another Steve Rogers. And that's when you're like, oh. And so when you see John Walker, you're like, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
The fallacies, the chink, the kink in the armor, the chinks that the armor is like this.
Yeah.
If there's a hole in it, an arrow can go through.
Right.
Last of Us 2. So
she threw the spear and stopped the shield. I was like, that was sick.
She threw the spear that it came between his arm and the handles to the point where he couldn't move it.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's what I'm talking about. The chinks in the armor right there.
And then as she did that, she punked him, picked up the shield for him, and gave it back to him. Like,
Yep.
I won. Here you go.
That
was great.
And what really got me about that was, in that scene, is you realize these are trained fighters, and you basically are a prop that they sent into battle who is not ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said John Walker did not earn this. It was given to him.
Sure.
Because Steve Rogers, even though he was a leader of Avengers, how many times did we see Steve Rogers fall back and say, you're the expert on this? There was plenty of times we've seen him, whether it's in his movies or whether it's in the Avengers movies, where he repeatedly said, let me assess the situation and then I will act. If you remember in Infinity War, Cap wasn't the first person to show up. I mean, when you think about it, in that train scene, it's one of those things where you're like, there's a difference between the man that is Steve Rogers and the character of him and John Walker. And that's what we saw on display here. That moment everybody had been waiting for.
We got some more Sharon Carter.
Yeah, I'm still a little... I didn't get enough.
No, I don't think we're done with her, which is good.
Yeah.
I want to see more of her and more of Madripoor, just to see that whole location. And do you still think she might be the power broker?
I don't.
No? Okay. You said it could be.
I don't think it's the power broker. I think it's somebody did a very educated guess and said it might be Thunderbolt Ross, or honestly it could be a whole totally different character we don't know that we've never seen before. Which it would be cool. What I'm hoping is that whoever the power broker is somebody who has ties to all these people.
Sure.
To basically this incestuous little family, because that's what it is. And I don't want to overlook the fact that Blastar Lamont died, and that's why. Because a lot of people would be like, "Well, John Walker, he had all this trauma," and it's like, when your partner dies in battle. That's I understand you're allowed that. But Captain America never lost it like that. And Captain America can't lose it like that.
Right.
That shield is a symbol. And that's the one thing we keep talking about from the very first episode, is that these are symbols, but the man behind the symbol is what makes it important.
Right.
Because countries and entities and governments, corporations make mistakes. And when they make mistakes because they're so huge, people get hurt. That symbol that Steve Rogers carried was the best of what America is.
Right.
And you heard those characters, the Flag Smashers, talking about, I wanted to be Captain America. Nobody want to be Captain America now. Right.
That's wild. And, shout out to Wyatt Russell, who again I enjoy in this role and I like as an actor overall. For the people who are uninitiated, he makes you like him. At least you're like, okay, I can, we don't have Steve Rogers, but we'll follow him a little bit. And then he just snaps. You're like, oh, he has that unhingedness about him. That's really good.
But this is the thing. You saw it coming.
Yeah.
Because
they've been building it up very well.
When Sam said, give me 10 minutes. And he couldn't sit still.
Yep.
And even Lamont was like, come on, man. And Bucky was like, it ain't been 10 minutes yet.
Yeah.
And the fact that and Sam called him out. He said, Zemo's been helpful. And Zemo, once again, as a cartoon character, is like, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And he arrested Zemo, but you were so focused on getting the Flag Smashers and taking down Carly, you forgot that you left Zemo handcuffed.
Right.
A man who is also not a super soldier, but is also a trained killer. He's special forces. You might want to watch him too. And just the idea of him being so unhinged, he can't see what's going on around him, thinking people are laughing at him, thinking the mantle is too big. And I liken John Walker to, if any of you have had a job where you've played sports, I look at John Walker and Steve Rogers like this. Let's say you're on the job, right? And all of you are at the same level. And somebody rises through the ranks and becomes a leader, becomes a manager. It's always different when that person shows you through their actions that they are a leader versus somebody who is tapped by management.
Right, sure.
A player, or if you, let's do sports. It's always different when a player who comes out of nowhere, a la, people call him Captain America, Tom Brady, picked almost the very last pick of the draft. That man has more Super Bowl wins than almost any NFL team ever. He was not, like, he was over, like, literally when you think about it, you look at the parallels between Tom Brady and Steve Rogers, you're like, I mean, we love him or hate him. I hate him. He wasn't tapped. He was a backup. Drew Bledsoe got hurt. He stepped into the role, and he has not looked back.
Sure.
That's Steve Rogers. And that's the difference between John Walker, who, when coach comes in and says, this is our quarterback. Well, did he have any competition?
Right.
Because I can throw just as good as he can.
Right.
And you're like, that's the dude? And then he throws a pick six.
Anything else you want to wrap up with on this?
As we talk about it, I know I said a 3. I give it a 4 now. Because there are certain parts I allowed myself to get a little bogged down in the Carly-Sam situation that I forgot about the fight. I forgot about the conversation Zemo had, or the conversation Carly had with Sam's sister. That was that conversation was very well done.
Trying to decide if I'm going to kill your brother.
That's
good.
Not only that, not only am I going to kill your brother, I can reach out and touch you. And that's one of the things I've always said about people. People don't know how to act when they've never been in a fight. When you've been punched in the face, you know how to act. Because you know how that feels. When you've had your ass kicked, you know there's a zone you can't go into with people.
Right.
But when people have never been punched in the face, and so
they're bold.
They're very bold.
Yeah.
And Carly is one of those people who's like, I've been punched in the face, and I will punch you in the face. And so I like her more now. I'm really interested to see where they go, because now it's 1 for 1. Because Carly did a terrorist act. Bad Carly. Bad Flag Smashers. But the Shield just murdered a man.
Yep.
He was down.
Yep.
I didn't do it. So what you go do, America?
Yeah.
You go recall Captain America?
I'm curious, because he's not going to give that shield easily, I don't think.
Oh, he go give it up.
You think he's just going to hand it over?
I think somebody's going to stomp a mud hole in him, a la Godzilla versus Kong.
Great. But do you think he's going to be like, here you go? I feel like he's going to fight.
I think he's going to get humbled. I think someone is going to tell him about himself. You ever had that moment where you think you hot and your mom breaks you down and you're like, oh, that's humbling.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen to John Walker.
Okay.
I think either America is going to say, yeah, let me get that shield. Or there's going to be a moment where he's going to lose it again and somebody has to step in and say, you're done.
Okay.
And he's going to be like, you might be right. And he's not going to want to do it, but he's going to look at and assess the situation, because he is a soldier. He's a smart man.
Right.
He's just in over his head.
And in the comics, there are points where he has redemption, right? He's not just completely evil all the time.
He's not. See, this is the thing. He's not evil. He's just.
You're very true. He's not evil.
He's a nationalist, and that's a person who believes in the flag, regardless of the bad things it has done. He can't see the nuances that what Carly's talking about. All he sees is Carly bad, she do bad things, government tell me to kill her.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a little bit more than that.
Okay.
So I'm expecting to see him step down.
Okay.
It's a question of who makes him step down. I've always said from the beginning, this is like the origin story of Black Captain America, where Sam gets the shield. I would like for Sam to take the shield from him. I hope there's that scene where he's like, you're done.
Okay.
So that's what I'm hoping. We only got 2 episodes left.
Yep.
I would like to see what happens with all this video, because we've shown that this show is smart enough to have propaganda in Good Morning America, and like he came out running. You was like, the band was cool, and I was like, traitors.
Band is cool.
Traitors to the original Steve Rogers.
Sure.
But I want to see if Good Morning America is like shocking video out of.
Sure. To see if they follow up on that, yeah. You show them high, show them low as well, that type of thing.
I mean, but think about it. We work in a business where that would be our lead.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's your lead story. Mm-hmm. Captain America murders somebody on camera, and it wasn't in the heat of battle. It wasn't somebody coming. It wasn't in defense of somebody. You took the shield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it for us. Let us know what you think of this episode and what you're looking forward to for the last 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, had to bring my Dora Milaje.
There we go. All right. You can find us here on YouTube, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com. Like, comment, subscribe, all the shenanigans that we get into. Hit the bell, and we're out.